So I know it's been a while, but crypto has been doing very well recently. I was gone in Italy for around 2 months, so I wasn't able to put out a video during just how hectic it was there. But we are going to start these daily videos up again. I'm not going to promise at first that we will have daily videos being created, but as of now, we're just using this video at least to get a start back up and running. So there's going to be a couple of topics we're going to talk about today. The first topic is about where we currently are sitting in the overall market, what kind of happened in the past couple of months. We'll do a quick refresher on that. Then we're going to jump into specifically a couple coins that I've brought up before. What's my stance on them still? What am I holding, etc. We're going to get into all of that today. And then every single day, we are going to get into a market update, kind of go over what are things doing in this current day, and then what can we expect for the future. We will be going over some older coins, like I said, in future videos that I've talked about previously, but some newer ones that do happen to pop up. And remember, guys, I plan on staying in crypto for very, very long time. At least I'm 30 years old, so that's 11 years. And in that time, I plan on doing content for the entirety of that time. So as the quality might not be as amazing as, some other people's quality is, that is a goal to work towards higher quality, and it will continue to be put out, both in terms of the value that I'm providing, but also the experience you get from watching it. We do want to build a community, so we're going to look to see what we can do with that. But without further ado, what has been going on these past couple of months within crypto market through my lens, and what are we looking for the rest of 2025? So if you guys remember, earlier in spring, we were kind of hoping to fully exit out of the market in April and May. And we did not end up doing that. Well, at least I did not end up doing that, because as you can see, things have only gotten better. Now, I believe in April and May, things started to slow down. Of course, early spring, early 2025 was kind of choppy due to a bunch of different events that occurred throughout that time, but we were able to again form a little bit of choppiness before we are starting to finally move back up again. We had a lot of things come up. Specifically, one of the more noticeable things, and this happened when I was in Italy, was the conflict between Israel and Iran. That definitely rattled the markets a little bit. But as we've seen with all conflicts, even though this one was a lot more noticeable than previous conflicts, due to the potential of that escalating into nuclear conflict, which, yes, it's probably minimal, but it's still a potential. We saw that being a potential scenario that obviously did not happen. But in the event that it did happen, of course, it would have been very bad for the markets. However, it didn't. And so what we saw things rebound. We saw a lot of deep discounts on a lot of different projects that you could have scooped up during those war times. We've seen it with Russia, Ukraine. We saw it with the 2020 pandemic. Every time someone thinks that, the world's going to end, rallies occur. And that's what we saw. We saw a lot of choppiness throughout these past couple months, followed by Bitcoin finally hitting 120,000 per token, which is absolutely phenomenal to see for anyone who loves crypto and wants to see it continue. And speaking of things, we actually did see a bill get passed today that I'm going to be completely honest, I do not know much of the details surrounding it. But that will be shared through a Instagram reel or a TikTok that I'll be posting. So if you want to get more info on that, I will be posting something about it there. So basically, that is kind of what has been happening within the past couple of months. Just to simplify it, we've just kind of been chopping around, really indecisive in our price action. A lot of catalyst events such as the conflict come up. We had a lot of little mini things that were kind of throwing the markets around in either direction. And we're finally getting a more clear direction of where we are going to go next. In my opinion, that is going to be higher, especially when we look at a macro level of Bitcoin on the 1-day time frame, the 4-hour time frame. It does look like Bitcoin is looking very healthy. A lot of strong buy volume is being created, and we just need to continue this momentum up forward. Is there going to be a potential pullback in the near future? There definitely could be in the next couple of days. Reason being is because we've had a giant jump, some consolidation before a next move up is totally healthy and expected, as long as we do not lose any critical levels. Now, specifically on the trading side of things, before I really get further into it, I will be going ahead and on TikTok, on YouTube Shorts, we'll be posting trade recaps of what I do every day. But we will be getting more further in depth on the trading side of things when I open up my Discord server. And you guys might be thinking, oh, this is a traditional Discord server. No, this is going to be a server where it's going to be completely free in terms of the networking side of things. So it's essentially called the network. It's going to be a free server that anyone can join. But the plan with it is to release modular sections that you can simply pick what you want to learn about, pay for that, and then you will be able to access that. We'll be getting into more details on that, as I have to literally put a lot more time into my own trading skill and to the value that I can provide before this even releases. So this will be a work in progress for sure, but this will eventually come out. It's not going to be a traditional group like that of, I don't really know any examples, but it's not going to be specific or specifically for crypto. It's not going to be specifically for trading. It's going to be for a whole variety of different things. I'm really excited to see what happens. Me and my friend are working on it currently, but I just liked for you guys to know the more what I'm doing trading will be shared when that comes out, which will be a very long time, but you can catch a small snippets of it on X and on TikTok. So yeah, Bitcoin, it looks like we could come and consolidate a little bit before having our next move up, but we're just gonna have to see how things are continuing. Now, as far as altcoins are going, Ethereum has been moving very, very nicely. And it's very cool to see the pressure, the buying pressure that's being built up with Ethereum and the potential that has to, of course, our near targets are $4,000, $3,500 right now, but then 4K, 4,500, and potentially 5K plus. If we can see that happen, alts are going to have very nice rallies. So as long as Ethereum keeps its strength in relation to Bitcoin, we are going to see a massive inflow into altcoins. And I think altcoins are going to do very well. So I'm very excited to see what can happen with altcoins. And now we're going to get into Aerodrome Finance and SKI stock. Now, I'm not going to pull up the respective charts right now. That will be something that I do when I go back to Florida, which will be about in a month. So once that happens, we're going to give you guys charts. I'll have my PC. I'll be able to show you guys all of the nitty-gritty details regarding charts, regarding news, all on displayed on the video. But for now, again, it's more so for me to get back in this consistency stage, share with you guys what's on my mind. Of course, you're not just going to see the visual of it yet, but you will see it soon. So in relation to two coins that I'm going to be talking about, of course, we have Ethereum rallying. Well, what do I think about the coins that I previously talked about and previously have conviction in? I will make a video on Crow. Crow, as far as I've known, recently has not been doing well whatsoever. It kind of pretty much has died off. AI agents, I mean, very, very large amount of AI agents have completely fallen off. We've kind of seen this with what has been happening with this cycle where narratives are leading the run in waves. So we had the AI agent or wave occur for around a month and a half, and they've completely all died off pretty much. Does that mean they're not going to come back? Not at all, but specifically with Crow, I've heard of roadmap issues with Crow. I personally haven't looked into Crow too much ever since I last talked about it, because I exited Crow around when I last talked about it, I think at a loss. So I exited Crow at a loss, but we will talk about Crow and kind of my thoughts on what happened with it. Does it have any sign of life? We'll kind of check in on it one more time because I know a lot of people are interested in that. But the two tokens that I'm going to be talking about today are that of SKI stock and Aerodrome Finance. So Aerodrome Finance, I'd like to bring up in particular. I bought some more Aerodrome Monday because we got confirmation throughout this past week or so that, in my eyes, that we were moving in a positive direction for the holistic nature of crypto. But then we saw Aerodrome Finance getting some news that released Tuesday. I luckily bought Monday, not based off anything, but just wanting to have a position in the crypto market due to us regaining strength. However, we did have some news release. I believe it was either Tuesday or Wednesday. I think it was Tuesday we had news release. I do not know exactly what that news was, but we had news release that was very hyped up for that of Aerodrome Finance. Was, of course, a sell the news event. A lot of people went long, and I think around 95 cents or It's whatever the amount was, they went long, and we faced a dollar psychological resistance before coming back down, where we're currently trading at around 92 cents as of 5 p.m. this Thursday, July 17th. So for me, I bought in around 84 cents. So I'm still in the green. I didn't long, of course. I didn't short. I don't have any futures positions in it, but I was able to get my hands on that. And I think Aerodrome is geared up to do very solid. On the 1-day time frame, it looks fantastic. On the 4-hour time frame, it looks fantastic. And in general, I think with what we're going to happen, or hope to happen with that of Ethereum leading this run, like having a lot of altcoins regain their strength, base having more momentum, I think Aerodrome is a solid choice if you're looking for a 2 to potentially 5x, and that would kind of put you at around $1.60 to, or I guess $1.80 to $4 is a conservative range in my opinion. I know I used to give, and this was January 2024 when I just turned 18. I was giving insane price predictions for Aerodrome, saying, oh, it's going to be a $40 token. In reality, just how the nature of this cycle has been, I don't think that's going to happen. There's definitely a potential, whether that be a 1% or 0. You know what I mean? But it's not realistic, and I don't want to mislead anyone or myself, because I was misleading myself as well. So I do think that those are realistic targets for Aerodrome. We're just going to have to see how things play out. As long as we keep the strength going with that of Ethereum, Bitcoin continues its strength as well, then I think the rest of 2025 is going to be a pretty good year for altcoins before we eventually go and dip even further into our bear market, which I'm going to be honest, guys, I'm going to be so active during the bear market, posting reels, posting daily videos like this, because I want us to make as much money as we can during the bear market. So we're going to have a lot of cash on standby, loading up on coins at deep discounts. That is something I'm very excited for. I'm actually really excited for the bear market, as long as we continue going with crypto. But I think Aerodrome, like I was saying, it still continues to crush as a DeFi operation on base, and it has yet to let me down. I really, really enjoy, the work ethic that surrounds Aerodrome's team. We have talked about this literally for a year and a half now, and I think Aerodrome is still going to do very, very well. The next one is SKI. So SKI Mask Dog, of course, with being a meme coin, it has a lot of community-driven. It's a community-driven narrative. So you have to have a strong community, and the community has by far been standing through. That was one concern I had for just meme coins in general. A lot of the undervalued ones was that the community would slowly die off in times of choppiness, which I refer to as a boring stage in the market where things really aren't going in a certain direction. I was concerned that the community would leave, or the vast majority, and lose the strength to slowly kind of die off, but that is not what happened with SKI, and I didn't really think that was going to happen with SKI. I think SKI still has a solid community behind it. Realistically, that's all you need with a meme coin, is to have a solid community who's able to, and specifically regarding the team behind SKI, the marketing team, if we're looking at it from a holistic perspective, as long as content is continuing to be produced by the marketing team, that all these events are being scheduled, like as long as growth is still being encouraged, we continue to see output being produced, and the community just continues to grow, there's a way higher potential that that coin thrives. We have yet to see a Coinbase listing, and it's been so long, really a tier 1 exchange listing we have yet to see for SKI. But I think if we continue up as we are and Coinbase decides to list it, there could be a pretty big move up with SKI, but again, that's all speculative. Now, one thing that I'd like to address is, this was something I discussed with myself. This is our last closing bit of the video. I'm sorry if it was all over the place, but I hope you did take something from it. But the last part I wanted to address was my mindset towards buying the dips. And yeah, let's just go over it real quick. So I know a lot of people will go over, okay, why would you, in my scenario, right? I think Aerodrome, I don't know how far it dipped down to, maybe 50 cents over these past couple of months. I haven't really been paying attention too well to spot plays. But I think Aerodrome dipped to, let's say, around that level. and I'm buying now at 80 something cents. The question is, well, why didn't you buy at 50 cents if you were going to buy at a later date? The answer comes with uncertainty. If there's uncertainty in the market where there's really no clear direction of whether we're going higher or lower in the next couple of months, because remember guys, I initially thought and others initially thought we would be completely out of the market sometime late spring, and we are still here because things are just continuing to gear up. So of course plans can change, but specifically what I've had to learn is that waiting for confirmation ultimately is a lot better to play off than simply entering a coin without confirmation, even if you're going to get a lower entry. Now, does that mean you can, if a coin drops and you're kind of uncertain, maybe throw in a smaller position, of course. But if you're throwing in a big position, what I've had to learn is that you want to make sure that you're entering based off confirmation, a lot of other confluences. The market's regained strength, right? We're heading into bullish bullish structure on multiple higher time frames. There's a lot of different things you need to look for rather than simply buying because of the dip. Like, you have to have a reason to buy the dip. So that's something that I've had to learn myself, but I'm still going to play around with it. Again, got a lot of years of growth left to go within the crypto market. And yeah, we're going to see what happens. But I hope you guys enjoyed this back to the basics video. Kind of just, again, relayed a little bit of what we have planned. Again, we'll touch on Crow in a dedicated video. I'll touch on Aerodrome probably in a dedicated video, SKI on a dedicated video, any news that comes out. We're just going to keep it with these crypto market updates because as long as they're providing value, and that's also something, if you guys have suggestions for me to provide the most value that I can through these videos, I'd love to hear them down below. Without further ado, I'll see you guys later.